Hi, this is Dr. Peter Grinspoon. Thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel. We're going to talk about my latest blog on Substack. My blog is Grinspoon on Drugs. Please feel free to check it out on Substack. Today, we're going to be talking about robotripping. But before we get into it, just on the bottom right of your screen, if you want to join my YouTube channel, I'd really appreciate it. It doesn't cost anything just to join, and then you could listen and have access to all of this content. Robotripping. What are the teens doing? Now, I've certainly had my time as a bored teen. As a teen, I may have been known or spotted taking an occasional puff or eating an occasional mushroom. But kids these days are using Robitussin, which is the active ingredient in a cough syrup. You guys have seen it all at CVS. The active ingredient actually is called dextromethorphan. Dextromethorphan is a cough suppressant. Originally, the only thing we had that helped with cough is codeine. Codeine works for cough, but it can cause addiction, euphoria, opiate addiction, constipation. So they wanted to develop something that treats your cough that doesn't get you addicted to opiates. So they came up with Robitussin or dextromethorphan. The problem is, in normal doses, if you take dextromethorphan, you all it does is suppress your cough. But if you take it in higher doses, for example, you take 20 milligrams to stop your cough, but you take 200 milligrams to 400 milligrams, you can have the weirdest experience. And teenagers are doing this. 15 to 16-year-olds are the most common users of Robitussin, the most common people that robotrip. And, a lot of these kids end up in the emergency department, and I'll explain why. When you take a high dose of dextromethorphan, you feel at lower high doses, you feel euphoria and energy. And as the dose gets higher and higher, you can start to hallucinate and dissociate. You could have out-of-body experiences. It starts feeling like PCP or ketamine or even nitrous oxide, all the other groups that are in this category. And the problem is kids have unfettered access to Robitussin, to dextromethorphan. You could walk into any CVS and buy a bottle or packages of it. In many states, they don't check ID, and kids can just buy this freely. Alternatively, you could order it on Google. You could get a nice big bottle of just dextromethorphan delivered to your doorstep. It's nothing, it's not treated like a prescription or a controlled substance. And teens, again, have unfettered access. Also, finally, people have cough syrup at home, which they need to in case they get COVID or in case they get bronchitis. But that has this Robitussin, this dextromethorphan in it. So when kids take high doses, the benefit is that you feel euphoria. You feel either like you're on amphetamines or MDMA. You feel happy, you feel uplifted. But then at higher doses, you start to dissociate, have these out-of-body experiences. You have your mind and your body get disconnected. Your time speeds up, your time can slow down. It can even cause psychotic reactions. That's why people end up in the emergency department after taking dextromethorphan. I saw a picture of these two kids once, and this one kid was smoking a cigarette on too much dextromethorphan. But the only problem is there wasn't any cigarette. He was just literally hallucinating that he was smoking a cigarette, and he actually thought he was smoking a cigarette. I guess you could argue that's a safer way to smoke, but it's really pretty bad if you're hallucinating. At higher doses, and kids have seizures. And in addition to psychosis, they can have respiratory depression. Teenagers party, they mix it with alcohol. Robitussin or dextromethorphan doesn't show up on any drug screens. It's exceedingly dangerous. And the question is, what are we going to do about this? In general, I'm not a big fan of the war on drugs and trying to eradicate crops and, arrest dealers and arrest people who are addicted and really trying to stamp out the supply. I'm much more in favor, if you've read any of my blogs or seen any of my videos, of trying to educate people and regulate these things, even legalize them and control the demand. But with the case of Robitussin or dextromethorphan, maybe supply side makes a little bit of sense. Maybe we can have an age of 21 where you have to buy cough syrup, and maybe they can have people show IDs, and maybe there could be some limit, or not even sell it on Amazon. You don't have to sell everything on Amazon. Of course, still people would have cough syrup at home, but at least it would be harder for teens to do this, because when you're a teen, you're bored, right? Everything's boring. Your brains are triggered to new and exciting experiences. I'm the last person to criticize anybody's drug use. When I was a teenager and throughout my addiction, I'm currently 17 years in recovery from addiction, I would snort any drug I could get my hands on. But as a teenager, it's really dangerous. People get addicted to Robitussin People have overdosed from Robitussin, and we need to educate teens that certainly they have better things to do than this extremely dangerous, extremely available drug, Robitussin or Dextromethorphan, which again acts on the brain exactly like ketamine and PCP. This is Dr. Peter Grinspoon. Thank you today for listening to my YouTube channel, talking about my latest blog about robotripping on Grinspoon on Drugs. Thank you and have a good day.